All right, so it is back to the Jason McKinley Project. Today is the second day of 5 ways we are changing things up for our future. But before that, if you have not yet, we have 2 things for you today, but I'm going to give you number one. Number one is go over to fitrichlife.com/book, and you can get your copy of How to Master a Fit Rich Life in 15 Days. It's tactical, actionable advice for you to create a comeback story. If you're not where you want to be today, get this book today and get started. And
don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It means the world to us. Thank you so much for listening today, and we look forward to having you tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. So back to 5 ways we are changing things up for our future. So this is the second day. Today we are going to talk about the follow through and happiness. We both left yesterday with sort of that cutoff, that cliffhanger to that. So the follow through and happiness, how do those two fit together?
good question.
Thank you.
Because I'm still thinking I did jump in where the husband isn't listening to the wife or not hearing what the wife is saying. And all of a sudden now she leaves it on one thing and I bring it back to another. And here we go. We have fulfillment, happiness, follow through. But that's what husbands do. We do our best. And yes, go. But on the follow through here we are on the follow through, since that's the topic of the day. Because remember, I saw a great shirt the other day. It says, I don't need Google because I have my wife and she knows everything. And when
that's you perfect shirt. Okay, so I will connect the two. So the thing is, we are so in limbo right now because like we talked about yesterday, we talked about making the decision, having the commitment, but that's just the first step, folks. You have to, in order to reach that happiness, that goal, that drive, you have to have the follow through. I mean, can you imagine if Jason or I didn't follow through on our need and want to be with each other? Would we actually be together? No, because we wouldn't have followed through on that need and want and that decision. Would we be where we are in large multifamily if we didn't follow through on that dream of financial freedom? No.
Would we be here with this podcast today talking to you if we didn't follow through with wanting to get our message out there, talk to people like yourself, and carry through?
So I think they got why the follow through and happiness matches together. In order to have that happiness, you have to follow through the steps to reach that happiness, to reach that goal, to reach that happy ending. In order to actually get to the happy ending in a movie or a book, you have to follow through and read or watch it, right? It's the same thing when you make a decision and a commitment. You have to follow through that commitment and through that decision to that place of goal fulfillment, of happiness, of inner peace, whatever it is you're looking for. You have to follow through to get it.
Your happiness is not going to be aligned with what you think someone else will deem happiness for you. And that sounds like a mouthful, but in context, we hear so much about what happiness is. Do this, you'll be happy. Find this, you'll be happy. Have this, you'll be happy. But ultimately, the only way that you're going to find happiness is from within. If you can't find the way to allow yourself to be open to, if you need to forgive yourself or accept yourself or be yourself or just have what you need, it's going to start with you taking that first step for yourself. Don't rely on anybody else. There's not going to be you can find great happiness and love in a relationship, but if you don't have happiness within you, then you're not just going to find the happiness from somebody else. It's going to be a push and pull, right? Because maybe they are happiness and you're happy with them, but if you're not exerting that happiness with them, it's not going to create the fulfillment you're looking for. So your commitment into the follow up, into the follow through, it's a constant search for happiness. It's a constant search for meaning, but that's what we have to do. That's what life is made of. So within your point about changing yourself for the future is that the only thing you can depend on is that things are changing and they will change. And we have to change with them.
And to your point about, creating that happiness within, Jason, there's a good book by Hal Elrod. It's part of his Miracle Morning series. It's actually Miracle Morning for Couples. And the thing is, what is stressed in this book is self-work. It's not going to marriage counseling. It's not hammering at your partner until he or she decides to take the plunge with you. No, it's fulfilling your own need, your own happiness, your own wants within yourself. If you want to do marriage counseling, you go ahead and do it. If you need to go see a therapist, you go ahead and do it. If you want to read those books, you go ahead and do it. Don't depend on your partner to take the leap with you. I mean, if anything, if you bring it up to your partner, maybe that'll just bring them down in the dumps. You never know. I don't know how your relationships are. But if you start doing the self-work and open communication with your partner, not pointing at your partner saying you are wrong, but actually examining the relationship from an inner standpoint of how can I, instead of how could you, I think that's where you'll find more happiness within a relationship, is doing the work yourself and your partner seeing that and growing with you and having those conversations with you as to where your future will lead. Would we be moving to Tennessee if I had said no? Probably not. But Jason and I had a conversation. We've been having this conversation about us moving, us growing, basically our entire relationship. And this is just the next step. But if I had decided that no, I didn't want to go there, then we would have had that conversation and we would have figured out that that wouldn't make us happy as a family, and we would have made a different decision. But you have to have that communication.
So that is step number 2 in 5 ways we are changing our lives for the future. And we had step 1, which is the commitment. Step 2, that is the follow through. And if you check back tomorrow, we will line you up with step 3. All right, Jason Peely Project. Thank you again. Remember,
Aloha.
hit that rate and review. Go out there. Love to hear from you. Give us a 5-star rate and review. If you don't feel we're worth 5 stars, that's great. There's a ton of great podcasts out there. We want you to have the best information available. But if you do and you love the show, give us a 5-star rate and review. Go out there and share this with someone that needs to hear this message. It super helps us get the show out to more people. Thank you again.